Hi, Cougars. March 2nd is Dr. Seuss's birthday. I will be reading a Dr. Seuss book every day this week and uploading it onto my YouTube channel. Also, on Friday, you will be able to dress as your favorite character or wear red and white. So let's get started with a quick biography of Dr. Seuss. Now, a biography is the story of a person written by another person. An autobiography is the story of your life written by you. This book was written by Cheryl Carlson and published by Capstone Press. The consulting editor was Gail Sanders Smith. Early years. Dr. Seuss was born in 1904 in Massachusetts. His real name was Theodore Seuss Geisel. And there's his childhood home. As a child, Dr. Seuss liked to read. He graduated from high school in 1920. He worked on a magazine. Then he went to college in England. That's his high school in Springfield and his high school picture. Writing and drawing. After college, Dr. Seuss made money drawing. He had his own studio. Dr. Seuss wrote and illustrated his first book in 1937. His first book was And to Think I Saw It on Mullberry Street, which we'll be reading in just a few minutes. In 1957, Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat. The book used rhymes to tell the story of a silly cat. Dr. Seuss drew funny pictures for the book. Many children love the stories and drawings by Dr. Seuss. Some of his books were made into movies. Adults also like stories and drawings by Dr. Seuss. He won many awards for his books and movies. Today, there is an award given out for certain books. It's called the Theodore Seuss Geisel Award. Dr. Seuss wrote and illustrated 44 books during his lifetime. He died in 1991. Remembering Dr. Seuss. A library in California is named after Dr. Seuss. People can see a statue of him at that library. That'd be a fun place to take a picture. In 2004, a Hollywood star was named for Dr. Seuss. Today, people still read and love books that Dr. Seuss wrote. And now for Dr. Seuss's first book. And to Think I Saw It on Mullberry Street. Written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss. And published by Vanguard Press Books. When I leave home to walk to school, Dad always says to me, "Marco, keep your eyelids up and see what you can see." But when I tell him where I've been and what I think I've seen, he looks at me sternly and says, "Your eyesight is much too keen. Stop telling such outlandish tales. Stop turning minnows into whales. Now, what can I say when I get home today?" All the long way to school and all the way back, I've looked and I've kept a careful track. But all that I've noticed, except my own feet, was a horse and a wagon on Mullberry Street. That's nothing to tell of. That won't do, of course. Just a broken down wagon that's drawn by a horse. That can't be my story. That's only a start. I'll say that a zebra was pulling the cart. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mullberry Street. Yes, the zebra is fine, but I think it's a shame. Such a marvelous beast with a cart that's so tame. The story would really be better to hear if the driver I saw were a charioteer. A gold and blue chariot, something to meet, rumbling like thunder down on Mullberry Street. No, it won't do at all. A zebra's too small. A reindeer is better. He's as fast and he's fleet, and he'd look mighty smart on Mullberry Street. Hold on a minute. There's something wrong. A reindeer hates the way it feels to pull a thing on wheels. He'd be much happier instead if he could pull a fancy sled. A reindeer and a sleigh. Say, anyone could think of that. Jack or Fred or Joe or Nat. Say, even Jane could think of that. But it's not too late to make one little change. A sleigh and an elephant. Now there's something strange. I'll pick one with plenty of power and size, a blue one with fun in his eyes, and then, just to give him a little more tone, have a Raja with rubies perched high on his throne. Say, that makes a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mullberry Street. But now, I don't know. It still doesn't seem right. An elephant pulling a thing that's so light would whip it around like in the air like a kite. But he'd look simply grand with a great big brass band. A band that's so good should have someone to hear it, but it's going so fast that it's hard to keep near it. I'll put it on a trailer. I know they won't mind if a man sits and listens while hitched on behind. But now is it fair? Is it fair what I've done? I'll bet those wagons weigh more than a ton. That's really too heavy for a load for one beast. I'll give him some helpers. He needs two at least. The story is growing. But now what worries me is this. Mullberry Street runs into Bliss, and unless there's something I can fix up, there'll be an awful traffic mix-up. It takes police to do the trick, to guide them through the traffic where traffic's thick. It takes police to do the trick. They'll never crash now. They'll race at top speed with Sergeant Mulvaney himself in the lead. The mayor is there, and he thinks it's grand, and he raises his hat as they dash to the stand. The mayor is there, and the aldermen too, all waving big banners of red, white, and blue. And that is a story that no one can beat when I say that I saw it on Mullberry Street. Where the roar of its motor and airplane appears and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. And that makes a story that's really not bad, but it still could be better. Suppose I add A Chinese man who eats with sticks, a big magician doing tricks, a 10-foot beard that needs a comb. No time for more. I'm almost home. I swung around the corner and dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps. I felt simply great, for I had a story that no one could beat. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. But Dad said quite calmly, "Just draw up your stool and tell me the sights on the way home from school." There was so much to tell, I just couldn't begin. Dad looked at me sharply and then pulled at his chin. He frowned at me sternly from there in his seat. Was there nothing to look at? No people to greet? Did nothing excite you or make your heart beat? Nothing, I said, growing red as a beet, but a plain horse and a wagon on Mulberry Street. What could you see on a Mulberry Street? Write your own Dr. Seuss type rhyme. Have fun. See you tomorrow.